I'm about to make some big changes as far as my setup goes, but before I want to kind of get into that, I wanted to show what my setup is now and how it's worked for me. And really this setup has been what I've had for the past probably 4 years now as far as computer goes. I've added and changed some things like monitors and sound inputs and those things, but really the core of my setup has remained the same over the past 4 years. The heart of my system is a late 2012 Mac Mini. Now that doesn't sound all that impressive in 2017, a 5-year-old computer. And that I got used actually. But this little thing is a beast. It rocks a quad-core i7, it has 16 gigs of RAM, it has a 512 gigabyte SSD, and then it has an additional 750 gigabyte just regular spinning drive. So, I mean, it has a lot of power in there. The biggest lack or biggest area that it needs is graphics power. It has integrated graphics chips, which can be good, but 5-year-old integrated graphics chips, not so good. In addition to my computer, I'm rocking dual monitors, as you can see. I have no idea what they are. It looks like they're made by Acer, but basically I found them on sale on Black Friday through Amazon, and I went with them. I started with one, and then I added a second one down the road, which was a really nice change for me because the symmetry of the two is super important. At one point I had a 19-inch 4:3 ratio one, and it just drove me crazy for so many reasons. For audio output, I'm using $15 Walmart speakers. It doesn't sound that great, and they're not that great, but I really don't use the sound all that much. I listen to myself talk and I watch a couple YouTube videos. I'm not watching movies on this thing. I don't need super high quality audio. I just need something that can pump things out. And when I'm recording my podcast with my wife, I use headphones that are made by Steinhauser, and they just make a much better sound for that. So I use that for the higher quality stuff, and then for everything else, I just use the speakers built in. For input and putting audio into my system, I use a Blue Yeti. It's a really great mic, I like it a lot, and it has its up and downs. It picks up some background sounds and all those things. It's not a directional, which can be a problem sometimes, but overall, it's a really solid microphone, and I really like what it does. I also have a boom arm that goes with that, and a pop filter, which stops those P's from kind of getting in the way and washing out the microphone, which is a great tool. If you have a microphone, invest in one of those. They're like 10 bucks on Amazon, and they make your audio just sound much, much better. I also have a couple other ones over here, which are used for the podcast my wife and I do, which is Budget Couple. They're 2 Audio Technica ones. I don't know the exact models, but they're USB or XLR, which is great, and they feed into a soundboard where I can control all the levels and stuff, and then that feeds into the computer. So there's a lot happening with that one. It's really not that complicated, but it's much more complicated than what the Yeti is, because Yeti's just USB, plug it in, done. As far as peripherals go, I use an MX Master for my mouse. It's just a good productivity mouse, and it really feels nice in the hands. I like it a lot. My keyboard is just a wired keyboard from Apple that has the full number pad and all that stuff. Because I'm a teacher, I need to enter grades in, and a number pad is just where I'm comfortable at. I also have the trackpad, the old one, not the version 2, and I use that sometimes, but really it doesn't get the use that it probably deserves. To hold my headphones, I have a nice little stand for them that sits there, and the greatest thing about this is it has an audio out, but it also has 3 USB 3 ports on it. So it's a really nice way to tie in all of the things that USB 3 offers right on port and just easy to access, because the Mac Mini, while it has 4 USB 3.0 ports, they get used up really quickly with all the wires that I have going everywhere. So it's nice to have extensions that are used for something else as opposed to just being extensions. I also have another hard drive attached to this, and that's an Incatec. It's really just a hard drive enclosure, and then I threw a 1 terabyte Seagate drive in there. That one also has 3 USB ports on there. So I really wanted to expand how I could use my USB ports and be able to add a lot of things to my computer. Now some of them I use more or less than others. It's a better way to just expand it for easier use and greater expandability. My entire setup also goes to an external NAS, which is a network attached storage drive, and basically that just backs up all of my stuff, uses Time Machine, and I use it as a place to store long-term videos and other things. It's only like a terabyte or 2 of space, but it does the job for what I need, and it's just there as a safety measure in case something goes wrong with the computer. And that's really it as a setup tour of late June here. I'm going to tear this apart here real soon, and I'm going to put the new hotness in, which is sitting right over there. But that's what I use to do stuff. You don't need to have the highest quality or the newest stuff to do everything, and you can get by with really decently priced equipment and make something cool, which I think this is pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to the new setup, but this is what I have now, and it's done a fantastic job for me over the years. I'll see you with the new setup.